Alright, in this video we're going to look at the difference between snapshots on the HXFX and rigs and scenes on the gig board. Hey guys, this is Dr. McFarland and thanks for checking out my channel. If you have been following along with this series, you can see that we're kind of comparing and analyzing two different units, mainly the Helix and the Headrush. And for a slight detour, we're looking at the HXFX and the gig board because they are similar in size and they still fill a niche in the market for most musicians that just want a very small and compact unit to take to gigs and have all the sounds available. So we're going to continue on with that series here today. And with the HXFX, we're going to look at primarily snapshots. Okay, so now to get into the snapshots, you have to press the left two switches, and that gets you to the preset. And I'm in my YouTube preset right now, so press the left two switches again, and there you're in snapshots. So with snapshot, basically what that does is, let's say I'm on the compulsive drive here. If I want to adjust the gain and have that be saved within a snapshot, you first have to push and turn almost, immediately. Push and turn on that gain parameter. And what that does, that creates a little vertical line that is now savable. Okay, so if I adjust the gain down all the way down here, then I save that. And then let's say I go into snapshot 2 and see how the gain is back up from where it was. I can move that anywhere I want to. Save that. So now snapshot 1 is going to have the gain low, and snapshot 2 is going to have the gain high. So that's a very easy way to have one overdrive in your signal chain and then just adjust the gain parameter up or down depending on if you want a high gain sound, a low gain sound, medium gain. You can adjust the tones and the versions and the level and all kinds of different stuff. Okay, you can do the same thing with the reverb. So let's say that snapshot 1 is going to have a low decay sound, so you have to push and turn the knob to get that vertical line. And we're going to go ahead and save that. And then snapshot 2 is going to have a lot more decay, and maybe we're going to have the mix be a little bit higher. So you got to push and turn that knob so the vertical line shows up, and then you can then save that. So snapshot 1 is going to have low gain, low decay, and the mix is going to be down. Okay, snapshot 2 is going to have your compulsive drive gain be up, and then the decay and mix be up as well. So it's just a very easy way to save different parameter settings within one set list. But one thing to keep in mind is this is not for switching in and out different effects. It's simply keeping the effects in there that you want and then changing the parameters of the effects via snapshot. Okay, so within this preset, this could be a song. Let's say the song is called YouTube, and so for my verse, I want snapshot 1 to be low gain, kind of a little bit of reverb kind of stuff. Snapshot 2, and these are, we want the compression on, tremolo on, delay off. Let's have the reverb off, but the compulsive drive up. Okay, so now snapshot 1 is going to have all the effects on. Snapshot 2 is going to have some of the effects off, and then the actual parameter is going to change as well. So not only can you change parameters, but you can also save on and off states of the different effects. Okay, snapshot 3 could have like a little tremolo, no overdrive, a little bit of delay and reverb. Okay, we're going to save that. And then snapshot 4 is going to be like both overdrives on, reverb off, delay on, compression off. And you can adjust these gains to where they stack very nicely. You can save that. So snapshot 1, everything's on. Snapshot 2, we got some stuff off. Some parameters have changed. Snapshot 3, other combination of effects. And then snapshot 4 would be like maybe our lead tone or something. Okay? So that's how you do all that with snapshots. And let's head over to the gig board and see how that works. Alright, so on the gig board now, we have the 4 switches across the bottom. And how the Headrush products deal with changing parameters, versus other products is each rig is its own, it's its own rig. Okay? When you swap to a different rig, all the delays and reverbs and whatever else spill over because of the tails feature that you have on the gig board. Alright, so when creating a rig, you're going to put everything in there that you need for that sound. But now let's say you want to create another rig based on the rig you've already have. So we're going to say new rig 2. And now we can actually go in here. We can maybe change the drive. We can change the volume. We can change the reverb decay and the mix. Just add in, a difference in the delay kind of sounds. We can adjust amplifier parameters. Okay, when we save that and we go back to our other rig, okay, you can see that the drive is down. The delay is or the reverb is where it was before. The delay is where it was. So each rig is its own rig within itself. And then when you change from rig to rig, you get all the spillover, you get all the transition effects going without having to really change the one before it. Okay, so that's really the big difference. Snapshots with HX effects is you got one rig and you're changing parameters within that rig and on and off states. And on the gig board and Headrush, to get the smoothest transition possible, you actually want to just save a new rig and then make any adjustments that you want, and then you can just swap between those two rigs. Okay? Another thing that you want to do is go to hardware assign, and this is where you create scenes. Okay? So let's actually add a lot more effects here. Just so we have some different stuff to play with. Okay? Let's add in some modulation. Here's some vibrato. Why not? Doesn't really matter. We can change the color of that. Don't want to be the same color as the other one. All right, there we go. Let's add in some shimmer after the amp, and let's say we add in an expression pedal volume. Okay, so now we got a volume pedal in there. We got all kinds of different stuff. Okay, so what snapshots are to presets in the HX effects, scenes are to rigs as it pertains to the gig board and the Headrush. Okay, so if I go in here and I want to create a scene off of one of these blocks, I'm going to hit toggle and it's going to change to scene 1, and I can call this. That's another reason why I love the touchscreen. It's so much simpler just to type in the name versus having to use knobs and stuff on the HX effects to change the name of your presets and snapshots. It's just a lot faster. I love it, actually. Okay, so there's scene. So now we have no change and on and off. Okay, so primarily for me, I want to do on or off and not worry about no change. So distortion is going to be off, grain JRC is going to be off, vibrato is going to be off, amp is going to be on, volume's on, shimmer's off, delay on, reverb on, cab on. And then for the gig board, you have an external amp, which you can do to change amp channels and different stuff. So I'm going to have that none. Okay. And we can also change, let's make all these red. Okay. So I'm going to save that. So now you can see that I have my clean scene right here. And when I hit that, it turned off a certain amount of effects. Okay. Now I still have individual effects on the other switches, and you can totally do that if you want. You can have 2 switches be scenes and the other two be individual effects. If you're on the full-size Headrush, you have, up to 8 different switches you can do scenes on, or any combination of the two of individual effects or scenes. All right, so let's go back in here just for another example and hit it on the switch 2, which has the DC distort. We're going to toggle that over to another scene. We're going to say this is our clean and dirt. All right, so for this one, we're actually going to turn on the DC distort, have the green JRC off, vibrato off, amp on, volume on, shimmer off, delay off, reverb off, cab on, external amp on, none. Okay, so we're going to save that, and let's make this red. Okay, so we got 2 red scenes, and then we got 2 switches over here for your individual effects. Okay, so let's just say, for example, that we want switch number 3 to have a different effect. So let's have the green JRC on there, and then let's have the reverb be the vibrato. Okay, so we're going to save that. Always save. So now we got our clean patch with a little bit of delay and reverb. And now we have our dirt patch with the DC distortion, no delay and reverb. But we can turn on the JRC. Let's change the color of that. Okay, there's that. And then we can also turn on our vibrato, which I actually want after the amp. So you can see how easy that was, just to slide things around with your finger. And then you can it's still assigned to that one switch, but even though you can make it in a different position in the signal flow, it's still assigned to that same switch. Okay, so I'm going to save that again. So now we got clean, dirty. I can still turn on my JRC regardless of what scene I'm on. I can still turn on my vibrato regardless of what scene I'm on, and so forth. So if you're the kind of player that just likes to have a clean patch with whatever effects you want in there, and then a dirty patch with some other effects, it's very easy just to kick in and out some other effects in there, because you're already controlling the on and off state for that rig, okay, on the certain scene that you're on. Okay, now the only other thing that you have to be cautious of is if I want to get to a different preset, I now have to go into, hold down the view button. I can either do rig, and I can say, all right, I want to go into the new rig, which is over here. You have to press and hold view again, hit stomp, and now there's your options for the stomp. Okay, and let's go ahead and make some scenes for this one, which I have to do toggle. Scene 1 is going to be clean-ish. Okay, we're going to edit, and let's say the JRC is off, the amp is on, the delay is off, reverb is off, cab is on, external amp is none. Okay, and we'll make this color orange just for fun. And then this one, you have to have an effect in there in order for it to toggle over to a scene. So in this scene, we're going to make it, where are we going to make it? Wet. We're going to edit. We're going to turn the reverb and delay on. Cab is on, amp is on. Green JRC is going to be on as well. And let's make it orange. Okay, so now we have a cleanish scene, which is just going to have the amp. And let's say we want to turn these volumes down a little bit. Okay, so I make sure it's nice and clean. All right. I'm just going in here and adjusting some stuff. Okay. Then we hit the wet scene, and our delay and reverb turns on, and our green JRC turns on. But we didn't change the parameters of those. We just simply changed their on and off state. Okay? And if you wanted something to where you wanted the JRC on a switch, you can do that. And let's make that green, because the JRC is green, or Tube Screamer is green. So even if you're in the clean patch, you can still turn on your JRC, right? And let's actually change, let's do this. Let's change the reverb to a delay on. Alright, so if I'm on my cleanest patch, and I have nothing on except for my amp and cab, I can still turn on my delay, or I can still turn on my overdrive. Okay, if I go over to wet, I have my overdrive, delay, and reverb on, but let's say I want to turn it off for a second. Okay, just make sure you have the tails on for all that, so when you turn it off, the delays keep going. Now I can still turn on my green JRC. So that's how you do that. So let's say I have those two off and I hit the scene again. It's going to turn them back on. If I go over to cleanish, it's going to turn all the effects off, and it's also going to spill over the delay and reverb that I had on the previous scene. Okay, just make sure that you have the tails on for those effects. Alright, so that's how I would use these scenes and rigs on the gig board versus setting up snapshots on the HX effects. Hope you enjoy this video series. We're really just diving deep into these units and making sure that you understand that whichever one you choose, both of them have a lot of strengths and weaknesses. You just have to deal with 4 switches on the gig board versus 8 on the HX effects. But regardless, if you do a little bit of preparation before the gig or before a recording session, you should have everything available at your feet that you would need to get the tones that you want. Alright, so if you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to do that down below and click on the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I release new content. And I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking. So why do people call me Dr. McFarland? Because I heal people with sweet rock and roll.